The word alphabet comes from the first two Greek letters, alpha and beta. A group of porcupines is called a prickle. The inventor of the Rubik's Cube took a month to solve his own puzzle. Octopuses can change color in their sleep, possibly dreaming. A bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast 100,000 slices of bread. An octopus has 9 brains, one central brain and a mini brain in each arm. Pineapples take about 2 years to grow. The fingerprints of koalas are nearly identical to those of a human. Water can boil and freeze at the same time under the right conditions. A chameleon's tongue is twice the length of its body. Fulfillingness, first finale by Stevie Wonder. Still Crazy After All These Years by Paul Simon. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack by various artists. 52nd Street by Billy Joel. Christopher Cross by Christopher Cross. Double Fantasy by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Toto 4 by Toto. Thriller by Michael Jackson. American Revolutionary War. Northwest Indian War. Quasi-War. First Barbary War. War of 1812. Second Barbary War. First Seminole War. Texas Revolution. Second Seminole War. Mexican-American War. What if R.L. Stine, the Goosebumps guy, wrote The Notebook? Noah Calhoun stood at the edge of the old dock, staring at the murky black water of the creek. The air smelled of damp wood and something else, something rotten. A cold wind swept through the cypress trees, making the Spanish moss sway like ghostly fingers. In his hands he clutched the notebook. It wasn't just any notebook, it was their notebook, his and Allie's. The pages were worn, the ink slightly smudged from age and maybe tears, but something about it felt different tonight. He could swear the leather cover was warm. He flipped it open, his heart pounding. The first page had changed. The words he had written all those years ago were gone. Instead, a single sentence scrawled in dark, jagged letters sent a shiver down his spine. "She's coming back." Noah swallowed hard. What the? A gust of wind howled through the trees. The dock creaked beneath his feet. He turned toward the house, toward safety, but then, splash! The sound echoed through the night. Noah spun around. Something had fallen into the water, or maybe something had climbed out. And then, from behind him, a whisper, soft but unmistakable. "Allie's waiting for you, Noah." Noah's blood turned to ice. He knew that voice, but Allie wasn't here. Not anymore. Slowly, he turned. The dock was empty, but the notebook had disappeared from his hands. The average cloud weighs about 1.1 million pounds. A jellyfish is 95% water. The M's in M&M's stand for Mars and Maury, the company founders. The smell of freshly cut grass is actually a plant distress signal. A day on Uranus lasts 17 hours, but its year is 84 Earth years. The world's largest snowflake was reportedly 15 inches wide. An ant can survive a fall from any height due to its low terminal velocity. There's a type of fungus that turns ants into zombies. The national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. A group of bunnies is called a fluffy. You Can't Slow Down by Lionel Richie, No Jacket Required by Phil Collins, Graceland by Paul Simon, The Joshua Tree by U2, Faith by George Michael, Nick of Time by Bonnie Raitt, Back on the Block by Quincy Jones, Unforgettable with Love by Natalie Cole, Unplugged by Eric Clapton, the Bodyguard original soundtrack album by Whitney Houston. Third Seminole War, American Civil War, Indian Wars, Korean Expedition, Spanish-American War, Philippines-American War, Boxer Rebellion, Banana Wars, Border War with Mexico, World War I. How would Stephen Colbert summarize The Lord of the Rings? So we begin in the Shire, a peaceful land of tiny people who enjoy second breakfasts, avoiding responsibility and living in holes. Think Vermont, but with fewer Bernie Sanders supporters. Our hero, Frodo Baggins, an unassuming hobbit who suddenly finds himself burdened with a powerful yet increasingly impractical piece of jewelry, the One Ring, not sold at Jared. This little trinket, crafted by the sinister Dark Lord Sauron, makes you invisible, but also turns you into a Gollum-esque creep. Bad trade-off. Frodo's wizard pal Gandalf, think your wise old grandpa but with a longer beard and the ability to defeat demons, realizes this ring must be destroyed. Where? In Mordor, Sauron's fiery, desolate wasteland of doom, which, let's face it, is basically New Jersey. Frodo teams up with 3 other hobbits, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, forming the world's first barefoot hiking club. They meet Aragorn, an exiled king who is one sword swing away from being crowned prom king of Gondor. Legolas, the shampoo commercial elf with sniper-level archery skills, and Gimli, a short-bearded tank of a man who is legally required to be comic relief. Together, they form the Fellowship of the Ring, a group with one mission: walk a lot. Like an insane amount of walking. Things go south when Boromir, Gondor's biggest jock, gets a little too obsessed with the ring and ends up on the business end of some orc arrows. Frodo and his trusty sidekick Samwise Gamgee go full Frodo and Sam's excellent adventure and head for Mordor alone while everyone else slips off into side quests. Meanwhile, Sauron's got a problem of his own. Saruman, the white-robed wizard turned middle manager, breeds a bunch of terrifying Uruk-hai to do his dirty work. But don't worry, Gandalf dies. But don't worry again, he comes back as Gandalf the White, which is an upgrade, I guess, more powerful, less gray. While Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli battle their way across Middle-earth, Frodo and Sam meet Gollum, a former ring-bearer turned full-time creeper with an unhealthy attachment to his precious. He leads them through the dead marshes and right into the lair of a giant demon spider, because why not? The finale, big battle, heroic speeches, Aragorn being awesome. Sam carries Frodo up Mount Doom because, folks, Sam is the real MVP. Frodo fails, but luckily, Gollum bites off his finger, does a victory dance, and promptly falls into lava. Sauron goes boom, Aragorn gets his throne, hobbits go home, Frodo pieces out on an elf boat. And that, my friends, is The Lord of the Rings, a tale of courage, friendship, and why you should never underestimate short guys with curly hair. You're welcome, Middle-earth. Mosquitoes are attracted to people who just ate bananas. Humans share about 60% of their DNA with bananas. The smell of chocolate triggers relaxation in the brain. A baby puffin is called a puffing. The world's quietest room is so silent you can hear your own heartbeat. The only letter not used in a U.S. state name is Q. Slugs have 4 noses. A human could swim through syrup just as fast as through water. The inventor of the stethoscope originally used a rolled-up piece of paper. A single spaghetti noodle is called a spaghetto. MTV Unplugged by Tony Bennett, Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, Falling Into You by Celine Dion, Time Out of Mind by Bob Dylan, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill, Supernatural by Santana, Two Against Nature by Steely Dan, Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack by various artists, Come Away With Me by Norah Jones, Speaker Box, The Love Below by Outkast. Russian Civil War, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, Lebanon Crisis, Bay of Pigs invasion, Dominican Civil War, Korean DMZ conflict, Cambodian Civil War, Laotian Civil War. What if Nicholas Sparks, the Notebook author, wrote Night of the Living Dummy instead of R.L. Stine? Chris Powell watched the late afternoon sunlight spill across the porch, a golden haze stretching over the quiet suburban street. Summer was fading, the edges of fall creeping into the breeze, and she could already sense change coming. She hadn't expected today to be anything special. She and her twin sister, Lindsay, had spent most of it rummaging through old boxes in their neighbor's garage sale, laughing at dusty trinkets and out-of-date records. But then, there it was. An old ventriloquist dummy slumped over in a wooden chair like it had been waiting for her all along. She couldn't explain why it caught her attention. Maybe it was the way the setting sun hit its glossy wooden face, casting long shadows over its frozen grin, or maybe it was something deeper, something unspoken. You sure you want that thing? Lindsay asked, wrinkling her nose. Chris traced a finger over the dummy's painted-on eyebrows. Yeah, I don't know why, but I do. The old man running the salad chuckled when he saw her interest. That one's been around a long time, he said, adjusting his hat. Got a mind of its own, I'd say. Chris had smiled politely, thinking it was just something old folks said about antiques, but now, sitting in her bedroom floor, staring into the dummy's glassy brown eyes, she wasn't so sure. She adjusted its bow tie, running her fingers over its stiff suit. I think I'll call him Slappy, she murmured, testing out the name. The room was quiet except for the hum of cicadas outside. The dummy's eyes, too bright, too knowing, seemed to follow her as she moved. She laughed under her breath. You're just a doll, she told it. Nothing more. Still, as the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows stretched long across her bedroom walls, Chris couldn't shake the feeling that this moment mattered, that in some strange, impossible way, today would change everything. And then, just as she was about to look away, she could have sworn she sought the tiniest flicker of movement. Slappy's lips had parted, just slightly, just enough. Chris gasped, her pulse quickening, but then she blinked. The dummy's face was frozen once more. She told herself she had imagined it, but deep down, she wasn't so sure. Cows produce more milk when they listen to relaxing music. The longest recorded flight of a chicken lasted 13 seconds. The average person will spend 6 months of their life waiting for red signals to change. Snails can sleep for up to 3 years. A polar bear's fur is actually transparent, not white. The average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the earth in their lifetime. A blob of toothpaste is called a nurdle. The original name for the search engine Google was backrub. The average American eats 35,000 cookies in a lifetime. A small hole in an airplane window is there to regulate air pressure. Genius Loves Company by Ray Charles. How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb by U2. Taking the Long Way by the Dixie Chicks. River, the Joni Letters by Herbie Hancock. Raising Sand by Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. Fearless by Taylor Swift. The Suburbs by Arcade Fire. 21 by Adele. Babel by Mumford & Sons, Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, Iran Hostage Rescue Attempt, Invasion of Grenada, Invasion of Panama, Gulf War, Somali Civil War, Bosnian War, Kosovo War, War in Afghanistan, Iraq War, Somali Civil War Redux. How would Jon Stewart summarize The Matrix? Alright folks, let's talk about The Matrix, the 1999 movie that blew everyone's minds and made an entire generation wonder if they were living in a computer simulation. Spoiler, if you've ever argued with a customer service chatbot, you already know the answer. Our hero, Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, a mild-mannered computer hacker by day, confused messiah figure by night. Neo stumbles upon a conspiracy that reality is fake. Fake news, people! And is promptly recruited by Morpheus, a wise, bald man in a leather trench coat who delivers every sentence like it's a prophecy. Morpheus gives Neo a choice. Take the blue pill, go back to his boring office job. Take the red pill, wake up and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Naturally, Neo picks red, because otherwise, this would have been a very short and unsatisfying movie. Bam! Neo wakes up in a goo-filled pod covered in wires and discovers that humanity is actually being farmed by machines for energy. That's right. Humans are literally batteries, which frankly seems inefficient. Have you seen how much energy the average American consumes in a day? These robots should have just gone solar. Neo gets unplugged, rescued by Morpheus's ragtag group of cyber rebels, and learns that the world he knew is just the Matrix, a digital illusion designed to keep people complacent. Basically, it's like if your entire life was just scrolling Instagram, but with fewer influencers selling you vitamins. Enter Agent Smith, a government-looking AI with sunglasses permanently glued to his face. He's basically an evil DMV employee with kung fu skills, and he wants Neo dead. Or more accurately, Control Alternate Deleted. Meanwhile, Neo trains in martial arts, defies gravity, and masters bullet time, the iconic move where he dodges bullets in slow motion, something that, let's be honest, would be way more useful in an actual gunfight than in a movie fight. The plot thickens. Morpheus gets captured. Neo realizes he might be the one. And we get a kick-ass lobby shootout filled with enough slow-motion bullet casings to fund the entire action movie of the industry for a decade. Neo fights Agent Smith in a subway station, dies, but then plot twist, he doesn't. Love brings him back. Aww, nothing like a little romance to defy the laws of physics. He then sees the Matrix for what it is, becomes a kung fu god, and straight up deletes Agent Smith like an unwanted spam email. The movie ends with Neo flying away like a trench coat wearing Superman, promising to wake humanity up. Cue Rage Against the Machine blasting in the background. And there you have it, folks. The Matrix, a movie that made us all question reality, fear technology, and desperately want to wear tiny sunglasses. Are we living in a simulation? Well, if the world was programmed by robots, I'd like to make a bug report because clearly this version of 2025 has some serious glitches. Giraffes have the same number of neck vertebrae as humans, 7. A cat's purr has been shown to promote bone healing. Some fish communicate by farting. The moon has moonquakes, similar to earthquakes. Strawberries aren't actually berries, but bananas are. The smell of rain comes from bacteria, plant oils, and ozone. Armadillos always give birth to identical quadruplets. The Eiffel Tower was originally intended to be dismantled after 20 years. There's an island in Japan populated almost entirely by bunnies. Wombats run faster than humans. Warning phrase by Beck. 1989 by Taylor Swift. 25 by Adele. 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars. When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Folklore by Taylor Swift. We Are by Jon Batiste. 30 by Adele. Midnights by Taylor Swift. And Cowboy Carter by Beyoncé. Intervention in Somalia, intervention in Libya, intervention in Syria, intervention in Yemen, intervention in Libya, intervention in Ukraine. What if Dr. Seuss wrote The Road Less Traveled? Deep in the woods, where the tall trees grow, I came to a place where 2 paths did go. One to the left, oh, straight and wide. One to the right, less trod, less tried. I scratched my chin, I tapped my shoe. Which path, oh, which was the best to pursue? The first looked easy, smooth and bright, with footsteps clear in the morning light. But the other, oh, it bent and swayed through twisty trees and dappled shade. No boot prints there, no signs, no tracks, just wiggly weeds and crookedy cracks. I stood, I pondered, I hemmed, I hawed. 2 paths, 2 choices, I blinked, I awed. Then I grinned a great grin and said with delight, I'll take the small path, I'll go to the right. So onward I went through the ferns and the bends, through thickets and thorns and twists without ends. The trail got bumpy, my feet got sore, but oh, the wonders I saw galore. A tree shaped like a curlicue, a squirrel who whistled and waved me through, a river that bubbled in blue and green, the silliest sights I'd ever seen. Now here I stand, and what do I say? The road, that road, it made my day. For the choices we make, the turns we embrace, can lead to the bestest and brightest of place. So if you must choose, be bold, be brave, take the path the others wave. Step right with a hop, and a hop once more. The best roads start where the footprints stop. The world's deepest postbox is in Japan, 33 feet underwater. A blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as an elephant. The Statue of Liberty's fingernail is about the size of a dining table. Some caterpillars pretend to be snakes to scare off predators. You can't hum while holding your nose. You tried, didn't you? Dolphins sleep with one eye open. A cloudberry is a real type of berry despite sounding made up. The Guinness World Record for the longest burp is 1 minute and 13 seconds. Pigs can't look up at the sky. The inventor of the Pringles can, Fred Bauer, was buried in one. Are you still here? Alright, just one question. How high are you? I mean, this video is probably booking in between 25 and 30 minutes, and you stuck around for the whole thing because you're sober? Anyway, Hope you laughed. If you cried, you are way too high, man. Take a nap. Please remember to like the video, share the video, and leave a comment. Let me know how much you liked the video. Also, remember that as always, channel memberships and super thanks are super cool. And now, I got a jam, so tag, you're it.